The sun is shining, I've got a beer, I've got my wall chart ready, and it's nearly the summer. That must mean only one thing: international football time. What do you mean it's in the winter? World Cup's in the summer. What about the Premier League? All right then, I've got an idea. Let's see how England would do in the Premier League. Welcome in, my name's Simajo and we're going to be looking at something really interesting. Got an experiment series for you here today. We're going to be looking at England in the Premier League, see how they do, see how they get on. Can they win the Premier League? Can they win the Champions League? Can they win the Europa Cup? In each video I'm going to bring you a season or two. We're going to go for 5 seasons in total. So the challenge is for England to win one of those major trophies in the 5 years, along with, if possible, the Euros and the World Cup, because of course the actual national team is still going to be taking part in those. So the England team has been dropped into the Premier League. Brentford had to make way to squeeze them in, but here they are. Players have been transferred across into the squad. As you can see, we've got all the recent call-ups for England. There's a fair deal of good goalkeepers in there. You've got Pickford, Pope, Henderson and Ramsdale. Defence, you get Maguire, Stones, Tomori. So there's a selection of top England players that have been moved in the squad. Each of their teams was compensated with the estimated value of the player. So we made sure that Man United, for example, didn't lose out because Marcus Rashford has left Man United. They got about 60, 70 million for him. You can see that in the transfers here. We paid for all of them to come in. So all those players that come in, obviously the other teams are going to be allowed to do transfers. England won't be able to do transfers. So the way transfers are going to work for England is, if a player plays for, let's go have a look at the national team. If a player plays for the national team and they get a cap, then they will be moved into the squad, but only on the 1st of January or at the end of the season after an international tournament. So if they have a cap that shows up here on international selection and their appearances show here, then they will get moved into the squad if it's a full cap. If they only have a brief substitute appearance, they won't get moved into the full squad. And then to prevent hoarding and to prevent bloating out this England team, if a player does not play for the team by January or by the summer, then they will have their contract terminated and they'll be released for anyone to pick up. So it allows for some interesting scenarios as to what happens with those players who might not get into the squad every single week. So I mean, for example, there's 4 goalkeepers here. We probably expect that only one of them, maybe 2 of them, are going to be making all the appearances. So the other 2 are probably going to get dropped in January of season 1, and then we'll see where they go from there. Perhaps if they get back into the England team, they can make it back into the England Premier League squad. In terms of the staff, obviously Gareth Southgate is in. He is the manager for all intensive purposes. I will have to take charge of the team just to prevent him from doing any sneaky transfers, trying to bring in any of those non-English players. We don't want any of them. So he's going to be in charge of everything from tactics to setting staff roles, hiring new staff, firing staff. He's got Steve Holland and the rest of the England set up with him there at the minute. But other than the transfers, Southgate is going to be handling everything. So he's going to be in charge for the entirety of the experiment. So these are the competitions the team is going to be in the first season. Of course, they have not made it into Europe just yet. So they're just in the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. We're going to be tracking them though to see if they can get into that Champions League or the Europa League and see if they can win those as well. Those will count as trophies towards their progress. So let's go forward to January, see who we're going to be ditching and see who we're going to be bringing in. So we're here 1st of January, just over halfway through the season. England are currently sat in 3rd, only 9 points behind the league leaders, which are Man City. Man City are currently unbeaten though, so England have got a little way to catch up. They've lost 3 games to City, Arsenal and Leeds. If we take a look at the team, we can see who has been playing. So Aaron Ramsdale is of course the preferred goalkeeper. But you see Dean Henderson's picked up a couple of appearances. In fact, Tomori is the most favoured player in the team. You see there's some issues within the team, so we'll have to go in and maybe have a little tweak around with those, make sure it's not too much of an issue chucking all these players together. But otherwise the team is looking quite good, some good ratings within the team. You can see they've picked up a fairly solid form, and one of the things that's notable is how few goals they can see. You see they rarely score more than 1 goal in a match. Most of these matches they're scoring 1 at most. I think this Man City game is a rare exception, and this Arsenal match. Other than that, they've barely conceded any goals. The favoured formation of Southgate isn't too far off what we might say England line up at international level. Of course, Saka he has been using at left back rather than on the right wing, but that might change after January when I show you who has come in. But Tomori and Gomez seem to be the favoured centre backs alongside Maguire. Trent at right back, Phillips, Rice and Bellingham in the centre, Sancho, Kane and Sterling up top. So for the players who came in, we have had only one, and it is Ben Chilwell, who has come in, of course, from Chelsea. Without a recent England call-up, he wasn't there at the game start, but back from his injury. He is now in the England team, and as such, he has been moved across to the England Premier League team. They unfortunately also had to let some players go. So Nick Pope, Jordan Pickford, we reckoned those goalkeepers might have got the chop, and Kyle Walker have all got the chop from the England team. They're all free transfers, so we'll see if anyone picks them up and where they head off to next. But let's go to the end of the season and see how the rest of the season plays out for this England team. They're not far off that Premier League, but Man City are pretty dominant so far. So we're at the end of season 1, and do we have some trophies? Let's go take a look. You can see that Premier League, we finished 4th place. Joint points with Liverpool, but unfortunately for England, Chelsea went on and won the Champions League. So England have only qualified for the Europa League. But it looks a bit better when we look at the FA Cup winner. England beat out Man City on penalties in the final, and the route wasn't too difficult. They beat Oxford, Rotherham, Birmingham. Then in the quarterfinals, West Ham, semi-finals against Brighton. Just that toughest match against Man City in the final. England also managed to win the Carabao Cup. Away with 2 titles already. They won that final against Leicester. Bit of a harder route in this one, knocking Swindon out in the second round. But then Chelsea, which is a tough match, just come away with a 1-0 win. Oldham, Brentford, and a semi-final against Liverpool. They won both legs of that, and then the final against Leicester. In terms of goal scorers, Harry Kane finished 3rd top. Joint top was Ronaldo and Aubameyang. None of the players made it into the top 3 of the average ratings or the assists, so maybe this is an area where the England team could do with improving. In fact, the best English players in terms of ratings aren't even in the team. So Wan-Bissaka, Tanganga, and Kyle Walker. So a moderately successful first season for the England team, 2 trophies they've walked away with, and they've secured qualification for Europe. It's probably about where you'd expect the England team to be looking at the strength of that squad. Perhaps they should be pushing for Champions League. They did earn a Champions League spot, but it was snatched away from them by Chelsea. In the international team, we haven't reached an international tournament just yet. I will show you how the team has been doing, but you can see all the players play for England down to Jordan Pickford. He hasn't actually played for the England team yet. You can see he only has a substitute appearance, which we don't count as a cap for bringing him back into the squad. Obviously, Pickford was with us at that point in the season anyway. And some of these other guys might make their way into the England squad in the future. And other than that, Nick Pope is the only other one who's even got a call up to the England squad recently. In terms of the qualifiers, England have won every single one of their qualifiers since we started the experiment. It'll be interesting to see. We have the Nations League starting next season, so we'll see that in the next video, along with to see how England do in the next season of this experiment. So as I mentioned, we are going to run this for 5 seasons. Let me know down in the comments below if you think England can win the Premier League within those 5 seasons, if they're going to be good enough. We've put them up at Wembley. We've given them top training facilities. We've given them a good youth intake. Let me know if you think there's any youngsters who are going to make it into the England team, who is going to be the future star within those 5 years. And that is it for the first video in this experiment series. I'm going to be going through a season each week, so make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Give this video a like if you liked it. If you want to see more experiments, I've got some fun ones coming up with some interesting narratives come through. This one has got some great ones also. My name has been Somaggio. If you want to check out some more videos, I've got some great on the draft mode. There's some of those going to be appearing on your screen now. Otherwise, I will catch you next time.